Assalamu alaikum girls. Today this will be your new class of biology, and we are going to study about the working of the DNA and the genes, the loci, the characteristics and the traits. What are all these terms? So in the previous lecture we have studied about the working of the DNA. It means how does the replication of DNA takes place, and what is central dogma and all these things, what is translation, what is transcription. So uh, something which was left is loci, and and it was about the um, it was about the like the position of genes, the location of genes, that is known as loci, and that was left intentionally because it is not related to the process of translation and transcription. So actually the part of the DNA and the sequence of nucleotides that contains the instructions for the synthesis of a particular protein is known as a gene. So that was already studied, already explained. DNA of each chromosome contains thousands of genes. So like chromosomes, genes also occur in pairs. So as we already know that the chromosomes occur in pairs, so the genes will also be present in the form of pairs also, because the genes are present on the chromosomes, one on each homologous chromosome. So yes, one on each chromosome the genes are present. Each gene is present on a chromosome. The location or position of genes on chromosomes are known as loci. Singular is locus. So wherever the gene is present, that location is known as locus. Understand? The position of the gene on the chromosome is known as locus, and this plural will be loci. So each gene determines a particular trait in an organism. For example, the pairs of genes are for our convenience. These are represented as letters. For example, A or B. So both members of a gene pair may be the same, and they can be different also. For example, in some individuals, a condition which is shown is like this: two capital A's. In some people, it can be two small A's, and in some people, it can be a singular capital A and a singular small a, and in some of the people, it can be like this. So this it can be the same. If see that the A is known as trait number 1, B is known as trait number 2. So again in B also one can see differences. It can be two capital B's, two small b's, or one capital and one small. It means that the gene was same. Then the characteristic is the gene. So the gene is same, but it means that it is existing in two forms. And what are these two forms? This is uh, capital form and the singular and the smaller case, uppercase and the lowercase. Okay, why do we say this, that they are existing in two forms, the uppercase and the lowercase, or in the smaller letter or the capital letter? Why do we say this? What is the reason of terming this? The reason is that, so these alternate forms are known as alleles. So if we have a if we have a pair, okay, this is a pair, this is known as an this is known as an allele, and this is known as also this is also known as an allele. Okay, so when chromosomes separate during meiosis, the alleles also separate, and each gamete gets one of the two alleles. When gametes of both the parents unite, okay, so this chromosome is this chromatid is from one parent, and this chromatid is from another parent. Why? Because you already know that gametes are haploid. Gametes are not diploid. Gametes are haploid. So these gametes are haploid in the meiosis. As a result of meiosis, the gametes were produced. The gametes were haploid, which means the number of the chromosomes present were n, and when the two chromosomes are going to get united from the parents, from both the parents, what happens is that uh, what happens is that the this combination is formed. These two alleles are formed, and combination is formed with the help of two alternate forms of a gene, and as a result the zygote is produced, and it receives one allele from each parent. This point is very very important, that they receive one allele from each parent. Understand why? Because the gametes were haploid, so it is receiving one gene from each parent. Okay, so genotypes and its types. The specific combination of genes in an individual is known as genotype. It is two types, homozygous and heterozygous. In order to understand the concept of genotype, let us consider an example trait. For example, albinism. Albinism is a condition in which normal body pigments are actually they are absent. They are not less, they are absent. So it means that the color of our complexion can be whitish, it can be any color, it can be different shades. Okay, so if the body pigments are absent, it means uh, there is a condition which is known as albinism. Why? Because the eyelashes will also become white, and the hair will also be like white. So it means uh, it is a disease. Like other traits, it is also controlled by one pair of genes. We can represent the two alleles, for example, A and A. So this A and A is actually used to denote albinism. Three combinations are seen: capital two uppercase A's, one uppercase and one lowercase a, and two lowercase a's. It means that this genotype can be grouped into two: homozygous and heterozygous. Homozygous means same, in which the same kind of genes are present, and heterozygous means in which there is variation, different genes are present. Two different alleles, heterozygous. Two identical alleles, homozygous. Understand? So when in heterozygous conditions, if one allele masks or prevents the expression of another gene, it is named as dominant. Otherwise, it is named as recessive. Understand? See, for example, I'll give you an example here. For example, when uh, when you are going to have a gene which has two uh, two capital B's, it means the capital means B means black. Okay, so here the result is black. Understand? If the genotype is B and one small b, it means what will be the result now? The result will be changed. So see, the capital B denotes black and the smaller b denotes brown. If there are two capital B's, it means the result will be black. That is completely understandable. But if one of the gene is if one of the gene is black and if the other of the gene is brown, I'm explaining it in a very layman language without any terminology, but if you are going to learn it with the help of proper terminology, it says when the gene pair contains two different alleles, this is known as a heterozygous genotype, and this is the example of heterozygous genotype. And this is also heterozygous? No, this is a homozygous genotype, because here there are two alleles which are actually lowercase b's. I'm continuously saying them lowercase uppercase. Why? Because you don't know the concept of dominant and recessive gene. Why I'm saying dominant and recessive? See, here this b and b actually is black. Okay, here this is black and brown, and here it is brown and brown. So what is the result? The result is the black is dominant. Understand? So if one of the allele is capital B, if one of the allele is black, if one of the allele is present which is capital B, the result will be black. Understand? Because brown is masked. See, it says brown is masked, or it is prevented to express itself, so it is recessive. And here no black is present, so it is not masked, and the expression is not prevented, so the resultant is brown. Understand? If wherever brown is present, it will not show. unless and until it is present in homozygous form. This is the homozygous form of the brown alleles, and this is the heterozygous form of the brown allele. In case of heterozygous form, the brown will not express itself. The brown gene will not express itself. But in case of homozygous, it will express itself. Okay, so actually the dominant alleles are represented by capital letters and the recessive alleles are represented by lowercase letters. So uppercase and lowercase is already explained. If it is dominant, we'll write it in the uppercase, and if it is recessive, we'll write it in the lowercase. Brown is recessive, so we are writing it in the lowercase. Why? Because this black is dominant. If one of the gene is capital B dominant, it means the expression will be of that dominant gene. Understand? So it will be black. It is produced when the alleles are recessive. The human's allele capital A produces normal body pigments, while now if we are going to talk about allele A and capital A and small a. Capital A is normal pigmentation and small a is no pigmentation. If genotype capital A is there, it means the individual will produce pigments. Same case is there. If this is capital A and small a, they will produce pigment. Understand? Again, now we are going to use an example. Capital A, capital A, capital A, small a, and then small a, small a. See, in this case, again the dominant is capital A. Capital A is production of pigments. Here in normal individual, production of pigment is seen. Here in normal individuals, production of pigment is seen. Why? Because this is dominant and this is related to the production of pigments, and this is albinism gene is present, but it will not express itself. So any individual which has one capital A and one small a is actually uh, lucky. Why? Because he is saved from the condition which is known as albinism. Why saved from this condition? Because the dominant gene is present and the heterozygousness of the gene is going to save that individual. But if both the alleles which are inherited from both the parents, if both of them are smaller a's, it means that the a person will have a condition which is known as being albino, and or will be suffering from albinism, and it means there is no pigmentation, and it is known and it is and see here the smaller a is suppressed by the capital A. It means that the gene which is responsible for albinism is suppressed by the gene which is not responsible for albinism. So um, actually the expression of genotype in the form of trait in our example is known as phenotype. So can we know the phenotype? When we see a particular person, can we learn about the phenotype of that person? Why? Because if no, we cannot learn. Why? Because the result is same. Here in this case, in both these cases, there is no albinism, not albino, and but in this case the but only in this case the person is albino. Okay, so we cannot judge the phenotype with the help of the appearance. We cannot judge the phenotype when we are talking about the expression of the genes. Why? Because we do not know what is going inside the body. We can only see the uh, we can only see the we can only see the appearance uh, which is very obvious, but we are unable to see the. So always remember, I actually the phenotype is something which can be seen with the help of eyes, and the genotype is something which cannot be seen. So you have to know about this. Phenotype is the appearance and the expression. Understand? And the genotype, it is inside the body, we cannot see it. So genotype and phenotype is something which is seen from eyes. Okay, I mix the concept a little bit, but I guess um, you are going to get it. Why? Because uh, actually I mixed it by mistake. I thought they are talking about the genotype, but it was the phenotype. Because The genotype means something which is happening inside the body. For example, remember the I I was telling you about A and small a. Why? Because the person will not be an albino. But can we say it that the genotype is this? No, because the phenotype is non-albinic. No albinism is there in the phenotype. Phenotype is something which you see from eyes, which is related to appearance, and genotype is something which is inside happening inside the body, and we cannot know it. So this dominant allele only suppresses the expression of recessive allele, and it does not affect its nature. So it is not going to change the nature of the non-dominant gene. The non-dominant gene will always be responsible for albinism, but it is not going to get affected with the help of dominant gene. Like, it is not going to kill it or something. No, it is just going to suppress it, and it will be present. The non-dominant gene, recessive gene, will be present there, but it will not show itself.